All right, today is September the 7th, 2019, and we are about to get our deer field plots put in. So lots of work today. Got to go actually build a bridge through a low water crossing so we can get the tractor over there without any problems and getting stuck. Got actually tons of work to do. We'll take some pictures down there. Last weekend, the weekend before that, I sprayed, actually 2 weekends ago, I sprayed glyphosate on the deer field, kill out all the grass and weeds. Gonna go out and mow and then disc and then plant. Not sure how much of that will get done this weekend. It's supposed to get up to 100 degrees. The sun's already up and going. So we'll see how much we can get some tractor work done before it gets too hot here. And then we'll have a couple days of that to work on. We probably won't plant until next weekend, being September 15th. It's probably the best time to do it, and then hopefully get some moisture in. So let's get this day started. Here's the entrance to the deer field. Like I said, we have put on glyphosate down here to kill out where we're putting in the food plot. There's our redneck blind. We got one feeder over there, and then 90 degrees have a new feeder there. So after I did the glyphosate, well, I wanted to see if I needed to just come in here with a plow, or if we needed to actually brush hog. And this stuff's not as thick of what we did last year in the food plot, but there's some real thick stuff. You can see that line back in there. That's stuff that we need to definitely get rid of. But if I did not have the brush hog, you can see how we're able to disc this under pretty good. Actually, not really disc under, but just disc out and get the roots up. And we could throw seed right on this and get good soil to seed contact on this. So, but I'm gonna go ahead and brush hog this, then disc it under. I want some of that nutrients to get down into the soil. My disc is not that heavy, so it really doesn't go down very deep. Kind of just barely scratches the surface, so I'm not tilling up old seed bed or anything, but I think that it'll just be a cleaner plot, so that way I can get better soil to seed contact. So we'll get on the tractor and get going. All right, well, we had a little change in plans because the tractor got stuck. We had to build, I built a bridge across a low water crossing, built another bridge, and that worked. So that put me behind. So I've got my buddy Tony over here. He's cutting, called a runway over here. So I'm going to spray that later on this evening. But again, this was sprayed pretty good and was used last year. That wasn't. So this was easy to kind of disc up. And like I said, my disc does not go very deep. So what you see here and you kind of get is, it, you know, kind of just basically just kind of tears up the grass and brings it up. Now it does leave a lot of undesirable little hills and stuff, but I'm gonna see, I've got a drag, and I'm gonna see if I can drag this a little bit, but I don't think that, I think the drag is going to then pull all of the dead grass to one side. So I want to leave this here kind of like a mulch, and almost do it like a no-till type of food plot. There's plenty, as you can see, plenty of wide open ground. So I don't think we're gonna have a problem getting seed to soil contact in here, as we can go through and like I said, you can see where, you know, there's going to be some places like here, you know, you got a big old lump of grass. I think the seed will actually kind of root its way through there, and you can see how it will just go straight down to nice soil. And this is good soil. I mean, if you look at that, we're gonna do a soil test on this, see what we need to add anything to it. But I'm kind of pleased with just the way that this disced up. We'll come in here next weekend or the weekend after and get this planted. We need some rain. I think we got rain in the forecast, a little chance next Friday, but that's about it. So I think this is going to be a real good plot right in here. I've got a mix. I found a place that actually will do a mix for you based off of, you know, if you want wheat and oats or peas or whatever else, you know. And so basically I've got a wheat, oat, and clover mix that I'm going to be doing right in here. And then I've got a superbuck mix, and then I've got some peas also. Now the peas, I think I'm going to have to probably put those down first and run over them with a disc to try to get those down in the ground, to try to get a little bit better seed to soil contact. But the redneck blind there to the new feeder over here is 90 yards, and be a real good, nice, easy shot for kids. That's why we got the big blind, so we can bring out some kids. The runway, we're going to put up some stands, some ladder stands on, and that's where we'll do our bow hunting out of and see what we can do out of there. But I think what we're going to do next is go back up to camp. The tractors, both of them are heating up pretty good. It is 100 degrees today, and I'm all banged up, and you see I've got blood coming from all kinds of places and stuff. It's been a day, folks. I started out at 6:30 this morning, and didn't actually get on the tractor till about noon. So, and it is now 3:35. So we did a lot in a little bit of time here. Very pleased with what the progress that we had, and like I said, we'll go ahead and go hook up the sprayer and put some glyphosate down over there. We got the drag now out. Now that this has all been disced in, and it's just a kind of a homemade drag. And what I'm trying to do is just get the clumps and stuff out of the grass, let it get a bed of good soil down. It looks like it's actually working. It's not clumping up the grass. So maybe just clumping maybe a little bit up, but we'll go right behind where he just went, and it's really knocked this down in here and turned it over into a nice open soil. So I think this is really gonna work out. See how he comes back around over here. Could even add maybe a little bit of weight on the back of that, but I was afraid that it was going to capture too much of this grass that I just disced up, but it didn't, so looking good. Now we're day 2 on the food plots, and today I've got my North Star 24-gallon pump that we're going to be spraying out of, and it's going to get the runway here first. And so yesterday we cleared this out, mowed the strip down. I'll say that is probably about 200 to 250 yards down, and about 40 yards across. And so this is what we're going to call the runway. We're going to now kill all the grass and weeds and stuff in there, and then come back and disc it up. Yesterday we got this all disced in here on the round food plots, so that should be good to go. We're going to go ahead and spray it one more time, and then spray any trails that we have. So if you've never seen one of these sprayers, you can go in the back on you can strap it down. There's places you can put straps here on a ATV, or if you got a UTV, Rhino or Mule or something like that, you can use that. So it comes with a nice handy toggle switch right here, and as you go along, let's just see how this thing sprays. You see it's got pretty wide spray to it there. So it's fairly early in the morning. It's about 8 o'clock, and we're getting out here because it was up to about 100 degrees yesterday, and we want to make sure to get this done while it's still cool, and that this can actually get onto the plants. Our next step that we want to do, that I've actually never done on our property, is get a soil test. So your ag extension can give you these bags and the form to fill out, send this in, and you can pick on there all the different tests you can get, but just the basic sample is at $12, and I think it only goes up to like $24. So this will tell us our pH level, also our, what we need to add as far as fertilizer and stuff. And on the form, what's really cool is you get to put what it is that you're trying to grow. So, if it's in just your garden, or if it is in a food plot or ag. And I think there's several other check boxes, and they'll determine based off of that what you need to add as far as any lime to bring your pH level up. But also another pretty cool thing is, there's a lot of do-it-yourself kits that you can buy, and it's got the little tubes and stuff in there. I didn't want to go that route. The main thing I wanted to figure out was my pH level, to see if I needed to come in and add any lime. And I found this 3-in-1 kit here, and On it, it says it gives you soil moisture, your light, and your pH tester. And pretty simple. You just go and you stick it in the ground and you leave it in there. It says for 10 minutes. And so you can see it's got several different readings in there. And on that reading level there, the bottom is the pH. That's what I'm most concerned about. So I'm going to stick it right here in the ground. And it says put in about 3 or 4 inches. And you can see the needle moved. And right now it is sitting at a 7, which for our food plots, we want to be between 6 and 7. So, but again, that's an instant, read right now. So just leave it in there for 10 minutes, which we'll do, and we'll come back and check on it and have the bags filled up with the rest of the soil. All right, it's been at least 10 minutes, and let's see if I can get a close-up here. And that dial down at the bottom is showing right at 7. So very pleased with that. And you see here's the little toggle switch. So if we wanted to check out what the moisture level is, it says wet, which I just did the soil test. And when you dig down, of course, it's here in North Texas, got that black clay soil down in there, and it's wet. You only go down, on underneath here. See, look, that's wet. That's hard clay that actually has moisture in it. So that's good. And then it has light, and therefore your light indicator. And I'm not sure if that's light as far as the porous level of your soil or not. I haven't done a lot of research on that. But the big thing is that I'm seeing that we have a good pH level there. So we'll see how that actually turns out versus the soil test that we're going to send off to the Ag Extension office and report back. Howdy y'all, we're back at 10 Mile Ranch and going to now disc the runway. We affectionately are going to be calling it. You can see that this goes down, and I've got the aerial map and calculated it out, and it's about a little bit over a half acre down to the very end down there where that feeder is at. So we're going to disc this up. Today is September the 14th, 2019. And last week we got the main food plot all disced up, and as you can see, this has really turned out really well. There's a bunch of dead grass in here that's going to be like a mulch for us. So we're going to plant the first week of August, and I've got all kinds of different seeds, and we're going to really test this out to see which seed does the best, or which plant does the best. But last weekend, if you've seen the other video, we went in and not only disked the main plot and sprayed it again, we went ahead and cut this lane right through here, and that is probably about 30 yards across, and then went through and sprayed it. So now we're on to disking, and we'll see what we can accomplish. All right, so we got the runway all disked up, and you see that this really did great. So we got some real good cutting done. Again, we didn't go really deep on the disking. All I really wanted to do was get all this dead grass cut up, so that way whenever we throw seed, that it'll actually get down into the bottom here. So you can see I can get down to the soil really easy. There's still some patches that are really thick, So what I've done is I've got the rhino out, and we've got a drag on the back. Now, there's a little homemade drag here, and what we're going to try to do is just break up the grass and the clumps that from the disc. The soil, the top layer's kind of dry, but actually you get down into it here, and the soil. Yeah, let's take a look here, and it's hard, and you see here that's moist. Got it. You see how that is actually, that's clay, moist clay. Yes, you say. So that actually is pretty good. It's holding moisture. This grass will keep that moisture in. So we're going to try dragging this. I may end up throwing a 50-pound bag of Sackcrete on it if it's not getting down to where we need to. So we'll check back after a while. To 10 Mile Ranch, and it is September 17th, and I thought that we were going to plant, or the plan was to plant the first week of October. Well, there's a tropical depression coming up through Houston, going to hit North Texas here. Today is Tuesday. It's supposed to do it Thursday and Friday. Some good rain, and unfortunately my next 2 weeks are packed. And then I looked at the long range forecast, it's supposed to then be dry. So I want to go ahead and get seed in the ground today. So we are going to get all of our planting. We're going to split it up to some brassica plots, and then some wheat and oats, peas, and then elbow rye is also in there. So got a good mix, and we're going to try to see which ones do better as far as coming up, and then also on the browse. So we've got a little bit over an acre to plant today, so it shouldn't take too long. And then we're going to go over it with our drag and get that good seed to soil contact. Then we'll get the rain to come in, hopefully germinate, come back in a couple of weeks, and then check it out. So let's get to planting. All right, we're about to go ahead and get to planting out here, and this is the main deer plot, I would call it, and then over to the left going out this way here is the runway. So this is about ½ acre in size here. We're going to put some brassica in here on one side, and then do our seed plot mix, or sorry, food plot seed mix, and then also down in the runway, and at the end some more brassica. So let me show you kind of what we have here. So we've got some clover in here. We've got Dakin radishes. We've got turnips. So we've got our brassicas, in here. We have here our peas. This is the Austrian winter peas. This is a already made mix here that I was going to try, and it is called Super Buck, and in it has wheat and oats in it. It has a little bit of peas in there, but this should go really good. And then I've got just wheat and oat in this bag here, because this one, like I said, has some other things in it. I think it has some rape and others. And then I've got our rye here. Now this is not our not your rye grass, but this is a winter rye, and this is Elbon rye, and it's supposed to be really, really good. So let's get to planting out here and see what we can do. All right, I got my Super Buck food here. Again, this is a mix I already bought from the local feed store, and I've got some other mixes there too, but we'll go ahead, and I've already got the brassica done on that side, and now we're going to do this half in this super buck mix now. Something that if you're just starting out in a mix is what level to turn your dial to. And so the bag says it covers 40 pounds, but that bag will cover a half acre. So 20 pounds should cover half of a half acre. So just a quarter of an acre. And that's basically what I was trying to do here, and I've got still seed left. And what I'd like to do is I always like to kind of start small, start spreading it out, and then if I've got to go over it again, that's fine. You know, I'm not planting 5-10 acres here. It's just a half acre so I can do, you know, some more walking, get some more exercise. So I'm gonna go ahead and get back to it and go over the exact same area and finish this bag out. You also want to check, because like in the mixes, make sure that everything's getting mixed in. Like, you know, you got different size seeds in there, and you don't want to make sure that, like the Austrian peas, you know, need to go out just as long as the wheat does and the oats. Here in the main, and we'll move over to the runway. All right, now we're down at the other end of the runway, and back in here we're going to put all brassica in. I like using a smaller spreader here because the seed, you can see that or not, but that seed is very, very small. So for me, it is a lot easier to control out of this little hand spreader. Again, I'm not doing a whole bunch of land here, so this should be able to get through exactly what we need. So I'm going to start spreading this out. We'll go ahead, that was the turnips there. Now we'll do the rat. All right, we got it all done planting here in the runway. Next thing that we need to do is then just run the drag. It is still September 17th. Had to go up to camp, rehydrate, change my shirt. It is hot today. It's going to be in the mid 90s. So this rain that's coming in a couple days is supposed to cool stuff down, which I'm certainly looking forward to. But this should turn out really good. Like I said, last thing is drag, get that good soil to see contact, wait for the rain to come, and then we'll check back in a couple of weeks and see how it's doing. All right, it's October the 6th, and we're back down at 10 Mile Ranch. So we've put out seed and put out seed and put out seed, all trying to catch some rain. Actually caught about 7/10 of an inch, I think, a couple days ago. The ground is just moist, so We're down here to throw out some more seed because there's supposed to be a 40% to 50% chance of rain tonight. It is, as you see, I'm sweating, is 97 degrees today. Yes, October 6th and 97 degrees, but we have a cool front coming in and it is supposed to drop down into the 50s overnight, high 75 in the rest of the week. And then Friday again, today's Sunday, Friday is supposed to be some more rain showers. So we're going to put out some more fertilizer. Didn't finish that last time. I'm going to put out some more seed. We're going to check out the new protein feeder down the way off of the runway food plot and see what is happening there. All right, we've got the seed all thrown out and got the drag here all dragged on and hopefully got some good soil to seed contact. I don't know if you can tell or not, but clouds are starting to move in. So a little cool front coming in here. And then we've got the protein feeder, a little homemade job here. Just a 50-gallon barrel, the lid, the free flow down in here. Got some double down pellets in there. I've got a camera set up over here that I'll be taking the card from, and you can see here is here's our 2-man tree blind there. So anyways, we've got a card on a takeout from there, check to see if anything's hitting this. Got our stand and fill feeder in here. Got a bunch of corn on the ground. That was just a pile of old corn that was thrown down, but you know, there's a lot of corn here. So apparently certainly not hitting this much. Don't know how much they've hit this protein feeder. Know that there's looks like no raccoons have hit it. I did get a coon hood for this. Maybe it's premature on it because we've always had problems with coons out here. So we'll see what the camera says, but we're done for today, and we'll see if this rain comes in and actually hits us. Till next time. All right, here we are back down at 10 Mile. It is Thursday, October the 9th, and we are looking at the main field here that we planted on Sunday. Again, this is part of the replanting of stuff, but we haven't had any real measurable rain, but it looks like some of this has started to take. I think a lot of the clover has started to take in here, and actually has got a good patch. Had a bunch of seed that fell in this area, all of I think that's Elbon rye, and so that's actually coming up. And I think that a lot of it is that it's cooled off, and so we've gotten a lot of dew in the mornings, and you can see how in this area where we had good seed to soil contact, we got a lot of it coming up throughout here. So the reason I'm down here today was to pick up the tractor because it's supposed to rain a lot, and I needed to get it out of here before it gets too muddy. But as you can see, it's gotten a lot of that clover popping up. Maybe I put it on a little too thick, and it likes a couple different doses, but I think that I've never had a clover field, and this possibly could be what a clover field will look like. Other than a couple of other sprigs coming up of the rye or wheat, nothing has come up. But again, we're supposed to get some good rain overnight. We have a cold front coming in, and tomorrow's high is supposed to be in the 60s. So looking forward to that. But we'll keep up to date and get down here, if not this weekend, the next, and to see exactly what this field turns into once we get the rain. All right, it's been a week since the last time that we were out, maybe a week and a half. Got consecutive rain in there, and so today is October 20th, and it's going to be 85 degrees. Got a nice cool front coming in later this week with temperatures going to be then into the high 60s. So got the deer food plot behind me. So let's see what kind of results we have. Well, as you can see, we've got things sprouting up pretty good. So we're going to start right here. This is our brassica blend that is in here, going all the way around the corner over there. And then it looks like we've got some tracks right through here. Looks like some pig tracks through here. So they haven't been showing up on camera, but looks like they're here. So we've got, looks like all kinds of stuff coming up in here. Remember, we planted wheat, oats, and rye, and as you can see, it's really taken off right through here up to what we call the runway, and that has green all the way to the very end over there. So looks like that really did the trick right there. The stuff that we've got in here in the main food plot, it looks like it kind of came up, but not really. I'm not sure why we don't have as much, and it could be because the thick of this grass that's in here. You know, that because if you can see, there's still some seed right down in here. There's a seed, like right there. There's a seed. So I'm not sure if it was bad seed to soil contact in there, but let's go check out the brassica blend that we've got around over on the side over here. And this was what do we have? Purple top turnips, we had some radishes, and then winter peas in here, and that looks really good. That tiny seed stayed in that seed bed for quite a while before it got some good rain. So I don't see anything nibbling on it yet, but I'm excited about this here and this brassica, coming up in here. I can see there's definitely the different variations that have come up in here. So like I said, we've got that all the way around over to where the blind is sitting at. Now, the last time I came out, I did a little experiment with the disc, and so I want to see if that actually what happened to it. So as I was after I spread out the seed last time, as I was leaving, I just put the disc down over here on the left hand side, and I think I did one, maybe two passes. So I just wanted to see if, kind of tilling it in with light disking, if it would help, versus on the other side of it where there wasn't anything there as far as disking. That was just throwing out just the seed and letting it sit there. And I can definitely see that I should have gone ahead and plowed out the right hand side. I mean, you can almost tell a line right straight through here, that where there was disked in, and again, so the experiment was, you see here's where I disked, right in here, and I think it was just one pass. So may not have been as much of the disking as it is just the way that the soil. So we're gonna look at this real quick. So we've got some real good germination right in here, and you can see all the grass here. Let's get up into out of the shadow here real quick. So we've got a lot of good stuff coming up right in here, but then when we move to over here, we have a bunch of nothing coming up here. So again, could be that this was had too much stuff. I mean, it's still coming up, through there. You can kind of see how that's still coming up through the thatch or what was cut through there, but certainly not as heavy as it is on that other side. So again, it's just a part of experimenting on your land to see what works. Just like the other area, the brassica that was in there kind of got tilled in a little bit, and then over here I had two patches that I left for just the brassica, and nothing looks like it has come up. So you can tell this little bare patch that's right here, that is where I left just the brassica blend in, and you can see there is a whole bunch of nothing in here, and I know that we got plenty of rain for it to come up. I guess there's a couple things that maybe kind of came up here, but certainly not like it is at the other place. And here's a little bit of the brassica that did come up into here, you can see, but very spotty throughout this little area. So anyways, hey man, it's just part of experimenting and finding out what works. But I'm very happy with the results of what we got. We finally got some rain, and so that has spurred on the growth. We did fertilize when we put this down, even though and again, remember, we didn't have to do anything with the pH or the nitrogen on there. And so we're probably gonna go ahead and, even though it says it doesn't need nitrogen, I think I may throw in a little 13-13-13 here in the next week or so as it comes up, just to make sure that it's got some enough in here. And this other side, I'll probably just leave it alone. I've spent enough money and time on the tractor and getting everything ready, even though I probably could come in here and still have a chance to plant and get something going. I think I just want to see what it is that we're going to be able to come out with here. So again, it's October 20th. Next weekend is Kids Weekend. I don't know if, I've put my cameras up. Today I had to take them down because I didn't have additional SD cards in. So I'm going to have to put them back up, and not sure if we'll come out next weekend for the youth weekend, and then the weekend after that I think it's regular season and youth weekend for duck. And those who don't know, half of our property is in wetlands, and that's what I'm down here today, and a couple other guys, is to get that ready. But before I leave today, I'm going to brush up the redneck blind and get it ready in case we do come out next weekend. If so, we will try to provide that hunt for you and show you what success that we may have. Y'all have a great day. All right, I think we're going to be able to wrap it up in today's segment here. It is October 27th, and last week came and I showed you that it looked like we had some bare spots and didn't exactly know why. Thought maybe because some seed soil contact was better in some places than others. Well, let me show you what happened. So here's the main food plot now, and as you can see, this right in here was where it was all bare. There was no real green. Now that's the brassica over there on that side, you know, coming around here. Of course, that has stayed nice and green, but this middle area right in here is where it was really bare. Well, it's come up. It looks like it was just delayed, and I don't know if it was because this over here from the first, you know, one of the other seedings got, you know, some moisture on it and came up. But as you can see, we've got all kinds of good plants growing in here, and we've got oats and wheat and Elbon rye coming up. So very pleased. And like I said, this is where we really thought that there really wasn't much growing. If you look just a few minutes back, all this was, you know, just looked like the thatch, you know, what we had cut was on the ground. As you can see, we did get a bunch of rain in here. I guess about almost 2 inches the other day. So that certainly helped out in that. But you know, we've got some spots that are coming up nice and thick, and very pleased with how things are going. You can see that we have a lot of peas in here, and you can see that right in here. All those are peas coming up, and deer are going to really love that. So this is youth weekend. We haven't seen enough deer in the area to get out and hunt the deer on any kind of pattern. We're hoping that as all the other vegetation dies off, that they'll start hitting this field and start hitting the feeders. But we've got, you know, a few tracks in here. If you see right in here, we've got some tracks, you know, coming in. Right there is some. So they're crossing in this field. They're using it. I don't know if they're really eating anything yet, but let me show you the runway food plot over here. And this is again where on the right side we didn't get much of anything, and then the left side really popped. Well, it's kind of evening up now, and the two bare spots where I said the brassica was planted, well, that has come up nice also. So you can see in here is where this is the left side, and again over here on the right we didn't have hardly anything, but now it's kind of hard to see, but it is growing. We've got stuff, you know, coming up, and I think that in the next week it'll be as green as the other. And without going all the way down there, you can see the real green patch down in there. That's where the brassica is. So very pleased with how the food plot has come out. Hope to get some video of the deer using the food plot. But I think that wraps up the 2019 food plot adventure, I call it. Again, this is, you know, learning experience, just as I am fairly new to this. Hopefully it has helped anyone else out there. And if you have any comments, don't forget to like and subscribe, and put anything down in the comments that you feel would help me out for next year. So have a good day, and we'll talk to you later.